Morning Geeks! Hey everybody, Jeffrey Powers. Third time's a charm, I always say. Yeah, for the first 2 minutes, I was like, because I forgot to turn on the sound, and then I realized I forgot to turn on the recording. So now I have the sound and the recording going, and the live. That's if you're watching on Facebook, that's the live. That's the liveness to it, liveliness. So you can go. Anyway, I hope you're having a great morning, geeks. It's 8:30 in the morning Eastern time, 5:30 in the morning Pacific time. If you're up at 5:30 in the morning Pacific time, which I know a few of you are, then good morning to you. I hope you are having a great day. I know that first of all, it was 4th of July weekend, so it was a great weekend. One of my friends moved to actually, I had a friend that moved to Seattle and another friend that moved to San Francisco, and I know, so they're in the Pacific time zone. But Michelle, she is actually in Seattle on one of their TVs. I think it's King. I can't remember that. I think that's the TV station she's on. And of course, she's doing her own morning show, and it's 5:30 in the morning for her. So I hope you have your coffee, because I have my coffee, and we're ready to have coffee and rock it out there. So it is a great week. Happy Grimbald Day. Happy Grimbald Day. Happy Procupius of Scythopolis. I hope I pronounced that right. And happy 46th birthday to Beck. In the time of chimpanzees, I was a monkey. And then, of course, happy 58th birthday to the one and only Mr. Kevin Bacon. Mr. Bacon of the Kevin. Today should be Bacon Day, not Labor Day. Labor Day is apparently Bacon Day. Today should be Bacon Day. Of course, celebrate with a big slab of bacon in your oven. Cook 350, put it on a sheet, put all the bacon on, let it caramelize, put on some brown sugar, put on some whatever you want for your bacon, and just let it cook for about 30-35 minutes. It'll be nice and crispy. Come out of the oven. You'll be num 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 with the bacon. Bacon. So anyway, it's Bacon Day. I call today Bacon Day because now I'm very hungry. I hate it when that happens. You start talking about bacon, next thing you know, you get hungry. Well, at least I have some coffee. So anyway, hope you have a great 4th of July week. I didn't produce out any videos this last week, because I actually got a brand new toy. And this is a toy I bought on my own because I'm a musician and I actually go out gigging. And so I decided I usually do acoustic guitar stuff. I'm a drummer mostly, but I usually do acoustic guitar stuff. I decided to get a hollow body guitar. And after a lot of decisions, I decided that I was going to get this one. This is the Epiphone.Custom. And this is my post on Facebook, or post on Facebook, as I was about to say. Basically, it's a hollow body guitar. It's a nice cherry red, and I got to play it on Tuesday to the crowd. And it was, when you play a guitar and you don't have the guitar tuned, the sounds tuned in, it sounds okay. But then Wednesday and Thursday, I spent a good deal of time tuning in the sounds with my pedal boards to make sure when I go to play that thing is going to rock and roll. And I was having some fun. And of course, I'm going to tool around with it today, and of course all this weekend, and get things going. But fear not, more videos are coming. We've got a lot of stuff. I know I'm a little bit behind, but we'll shift it. We'll shift some gears and go forward. I'm also looking for some creators. If you are a geek and you want to create little vignettes for Morning Geeks, let me know by tweeting me over at Geekazine or geekazine@gmail.com. All right, with all that out of the way, I think we're ready to get into the action from the show. So let's get into the show. Let me just set this up here really quick. There we go. And we'll switch this over to the music. Boo! There we go. And let's get into the show. Let's geek out at this point in time. Final Fantasy VII RPG hits Android 10 months after iOS had it, proving that you don't need a game console anymore to have a first-class game. Of course, you'll need about 4 gigabytes of free space on your phone, and you'll have to pay $15.99 for that game. But it's out there. It's looking pretty good from the reports that I've seen. I haven't been able to download it just yet, but I will be doing that shortly. It only took 50 years to finally bring Sulu out of the closet, and we're still glad they did. In Star Trek reboot, John Cho will reveal his sexuality. He told a whole bunch of people, "Hey, we're gonna do this." in Star Trek Beyond, he's going to be seen with his husband and a daughter named Lily, along with his father named Jay and a sister named Claire. And oh wait, no, that's Modern Family. But he will be seen with a husband and a child there. But what's more interesting is the reaction that George Takei had from that, and which it's interesting because he's kind of putting the character before the lifestyle and before the fact that he's gone. And even though he called it unfortunate, but he reacted. He basically said it's great that they're going to be doing this. It was Simon Pegg who plays Scotty. He's he's also in Shaun of the Dead, and he's also in Mission Impossible. He's also a writer, and he's been doing some writing with the crew on Star Trek Beyond. And that's where he decided, well, let's do this. And so George Takei, he loves the idea that there is an openly gay character in the franchise. But he basically said, well, Gene Roddenberry, he probably wouldn't have wanted it that way. He probably, even though Roddenberry loved the LGBT community, he really wanted Sulu to be straight. And so it's not that he's upset with the character or anything like that. He says, hey, the cards fell. This is what happened. That's how life goes, And so, thank you for for that nod, and we'll just move forward from there. But think about what George would have wanted, basically is what I got out of that whole thing. So anyway, you could read all that. We've got the links, and you can check that out from there. Let's move on. Sigourney Weaver confirms that there's going to be an Alien 5 to help celebrate the 30th anniversary. It's set to be a direct follow from Aliens. This will be give Weaver a full geek plate, going from Ghostbusters to Alien 5 to Avatar 2 to Avatar 3 to Avatar 4. So you can suck it, Scarlett Johansson and Jennifer Lawrence. Sigourney Weaver, she's still in there. And of course, she's in Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters coming out in a couple weeks there. The new reboot. I think most of the people... most of the original cast is slated. At least I read on IMDb that they're going to be in Ghostbusters. So really cool. Can't wait for that. And of course, good job, Sigourney Weaver. All these years, you're still rocking and rolling and putting out cool movies like Aliens and Ghostbusters and Avatar. Simple as that. So let's move on from here. 8 years ago, a website called Bitstrips came onto the scene. You could build comics with characters and other items. I was a big fan, and I made some really cool stuff. One of them I did was this image right here. It's Duke Nukem Forever, and you might go, well, that looks pretty cool, but that and might have been, I could have done that, but actually, that took many hours of work. Because there's no Duke Nukem character, and to actually create that, I actually had to do the shapes of all the muscles, and these are all just basic shapes that I had to put together to make Duke Nukem. I did a whole bunch of other stuff. I did ants. My brother got on there, and he did like the first comic of Superman, recreated that and all that other stuff. So the site had different spin-offs like Bitstrips for Facebook, Bitmojis, and more. And of course, Snapchat bought the Bitmoji site for $100 million back in March and incorporated it into Snapchat. Well, the original Bitstrips website is actually going to be closing down at midnight tonight. So if you created anything and you want to keep it, they suggest that you go and you collect your stuff. So you basically go up to the page, you go to your comics, you start at the last comic or the first comic, and you pull that up and you right click and you say save. You go to the next page, right click save, so on and so forth. So if you did any Bitstrips creation, you've got till midnight tonight, and they sprung it on. Apparently they sprung it on us last night. And my brother, he texted me at like 1 o'clock in the morning. It's like, why are you texting me at 1 o'clock in the morning? And he goes, because we all have Irish accents at 1 o'clock in the morning. Go, yeah, that's right. I forgot. I missed one Scottish accent, but that's okay. What's going on? Bitstrips is closing down. Oh my goodness, that's business. It's gone. So anyway. Go check out your Bitstrips if you want to save some of your comics. I know I will be spending a few hours after the show doing that. So, and go from there. All right, let's move on. So Tony Stark is just giving away the Iron Man outfit. Why couldn't he have given it to me? I could have used some iron. I don't know. But he did give it to Riri Williams, R-I-R-I Williams. She's one of the sisters. Is she one of the sisters of Serena and Venus Williams? Anyway, Marvel has announced Riri, a 15-year-old black girl, will be taking over the Iron Man, well, I guess this would be Iron Woman, or maybe Iron Person outfit now, however it works. Story goes that Riri is a 15-year-old genius from MIT that somehow becomes Iron Man. Not sure if a headhunter found her or the position or what, but, oh wait, you know, if you put Serena Williams with Sheldon Cooper, then you have Riri Williams. Now that is a Big Bang Theory right there. I tell you, those microorganisms are going all over the place, and they play those games. Those kids, they play those games. They just play those games, sit there and play those games and go from there. They play in the Pac Man all day. The University College of Southwest Norway has decided to set up a Pac Man maze to see how certain microorganisms react and maybe even find their way out. No, they won't be introduced to super pills that give them super abilities to eat ghosts and maybe grow as big as New York and Marshmallow Men or anything like that. But, you know, hey, you watch these little videos of these guys recording, and that's the only way you can watch them is through these videos, because, you know, it is microscopic. You cannot see this without a microscope, and of course a video camera, of course. So if you wanted to check that out, we've got that. It's over on geek.com. Going from micro to macro, James Newman. James Newman decided that his old NES was not big enough to play Tetris. Tetris, you know, the game with the bricks and everything. So the UK resident decided to build a supercomputer to do one thing only: play Tetris. The 16-bit machine has 200. Whoops! I suppose I should bring that. There we go. The 16-bit machine has 256 bytes of RAM and a 20 kilohertz processor. Better than your VIC-20, but not better than an Intel 4004. The machine will basically takes up a whole room, just like those computers of the past. He started the project in 2012. There's 10,000 LEDs in that, and he hopes, and then of course it takes 500 watts of power. He hopes to actually have this in some type of museum in the near future, so kids can learn that you can build a supercomputer in your own garage. Yes, you can. You can do it all by yourself. So, finally, do you love The Walking Dead? Do you love Disney? Well, what if the two collided? I found out later. It's a little bit older post, but it's still pretty cool. Would Aladdin be whisking Jasmine off on a magic carpet, or would the genie try to eat them both? Would the Lost Boys basically mean a young group of orphans, or an orphanage that was overtaken by zombies? And how do you react when you run into Stitch for the first time? Stitch! Ah! Boom! Blow his head off? I don't know. Kasami Sensei of DeviantArt decided to put together some examples of the Walking Disney, or Disney Dead, Walking Dead, Disney Dead. I hope at least he revived Walt himself, because, you know, in the perfect world of zombies, we want a walking Walt Disney, don't we? I think so. We got Pokemon Divergence and Ash vs. Evil Dead all new to this week. Ever wondered what your pets were thinking? Well, this new movie will give you some insight to that. The Secret Life of Pets is about a dislike between two dogs and how they have to band together to save the animals. Louis C.K., Eric Stonestreet, Kevin Hart, Jenny Slate, Ellie Kemper, and Albert Brooks star. This next trailer has some, a lot of editing to it. It simply had way too much blood and gore. It's the trailer for the next season of Ash vs. Evil Dead, which premieres on Starz September 23rd. Pokemon takes the game to augmented reality as Pokemon Go becomes available for iOS and Android. Using GPS and your full battery and data plan, you can find and capture the creatures, then send them on major battles, just like the card game.
To your people, you are divergent. To me, you are a miracle.
This Tuesday, you can get Allegiant for your video collection. The third movie in the series details how Triss has to escape Chicago to discover the truth about what happened. Personally, I like to escape Chicago for the Cubs curse. And, oh yeah, Jay Cutler. How is he still a quarterback? And that's all new to this week. Couple quick notes on that. First of all, Ash versus Evil Dead. I said September 23rd. That's what IMDb said, but the actual preview says October, so it might have gotten pushed back from the IMDb part. So we'll see what happens there. The other thing is that Pokemon Go. I didn't realize how impacted that could have, because my Facebook feed last night was filled with, oh, I'm out there playing Pokemon Go. I'm gonna get my Pikachu. We're on team whatever. Get over this team. Get over this team. So, if you are a Pokemon fan, you get it on your phone. Right, toot sweet. So you can play with your friends out there, because usually getting in the beginning, you can level up and you can be a real force in Pokemon in these games, as opposed to joining late. So join now, get in the game, and go from there. And it's like that other game, Ingress. And it's pretty interesting and how we're going to see more games like that, where you're going to be walking around collecting stuff and, of course, using your phone. So anyway, let's move on from there. Yesterday, Reddit, on Reddit, somebody posted this video. It was a Canadian network, and there was an episode of Pokemon, speaking of which. They wanted to get more interaction with the kids. So during that episode, they put a little frog in the corner, like right here. And they told kids, hey, go to the website, and there's a button, and you push this button. You continually push this button, and it'll make the frog, so the frog can get food and he can be happy. They're basically feeding him. The more the kids pressed the button, the more frog was fed or reacted. Sometimes the frog would have one eye bulging and be like this, and sometimes he'd be like alien eyes. So another time, so basically he was doing different things, which in all reality didn't show if the kids were actually reacting, making the frog react, or they just decided, well, let's just put up a little video and he'll react, and hopefully the kids will press the button. So does it mean that kids aren't watching the cartoons anymore, or do they need to be more centric to the mobile device and that second screen thing there? So it's not the days of when we were children, or at least when I was a child, having only 5 channels to watch to, and limited mobile and gaming devices to play. We definitely didn't have iPhones and iPads and stuff like that. Not to mention, of course, we had violence, political incorrectness, smoking, drinking, and other impurities that don't basically plague cartoons today. But these shows kept our attention, and we didn't have to play on a phone to continue watching. Now, Jennifer and I, we went to her sister's place for the 4th of July weekend. Their 3 kids watch TV and cartoons, and they don't have cable or anything like that. They have their Apple TV, and they watch a lot of Netflix and a lot of stuff like that. But we were embraced with a show called The Deep, which is a CBBC, which is children's BBC program about a family that lives and works underwater. Now, while the show didn't really hold up to science fact, it was pretty entertaining in its own right. We were introduced to characters and storylines. I rather enjoyed the show, and I saw that it kept the kids glued to the TV. They talked about it too. They loved it. While we had our fair share of odd cartoons and kids shows trying to be as G as possible, these shows tried to keep a grounding and not to go too far off course, and not to be unfair to kids shows out there, because A, I don't see as many kids shows as I did back when I was a kid, and B, I'm really not in their demographic. But I wonder what today's kids will geek out for in about 20 years. You have cartoons like VeggieTales, you have Daniel Tiger, you have Arthur. They're all great educational shows, teach valuable lessons. They need a geek, if they need geek action in there, you got things like Teen Titans and Powerpuff Girls to bring in a good blend. They're not the shows like Thunderbirds, Inspector Gadget, even the first couple seasons of Power Rangers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and stuff like that, that these kids will really remember. But like I said, there's those toys. You might see a VeggieTales toy 20 years from now go for hundreds of dollars, if not more. And yeah, these kids shows were influenced by our cartoons. I mean, Daniel Tiger was a spin-off from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, the puppet Daniel Tiger in Make Believe on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. It's a well-crafted show with a lot of great takeaways. Another example, or another angle, a few of our shows basically get redone. A lot of Lego Reduxes are out there, like Scooby-Doo, Batman, and of course the Star Wars. You can see a lot of Lego movies, and then of course Lego Movie itself, pretty entertaining. Everything is awesome and all that other good stuff. But do these shows keep the kids' attention? Do iPhones and Xboxes take away from the value and that we used to have, sticking to that wood floor, looking at a small square 4x3 screen in the middle of July in the sweltering heat with no air conditioning? Then again, I suppose we had our share of reacting to do something, whether it being collecting box tops to get that secret decoder ring or the free Emperor action figure when you bought all the other Star Wars action figures, sending letters to Bozo the Clown and Captain Planet, and even, talking back with people like Scooby-Doo and G.I. Joe, I remember that, and a lot of other different ways. And as they go off into the sunset on the TV, channels like NBC have very limited cartoon blocks, and they're putting more programming in it. You could find all this stuff on Netflix, on Hulu, on Amazon, a lot more. You not only will have a selection, you can choose when, where, how you watch, just like everything else nowadays. And as I pointed out earlier, Pokemon Go is now available, so you can go explore with your kids, come back, watch some TV, get into it a little bit more, and then go out and explore again. So pretty interesting stuff. A lot of change in the morning cartoons today, but if you think about it, it's pretty much the same. The only thing that's not in there is the political incorrectness, the swearing, or no swearing, I'm sorry, the violence. There might have been some, well, depending on terms and stuff like that, it could have been, terms from then and now. But a lot of different things. Watching, old Bugs Bunny cartoons then and now, it'd be interesting to see what would happen if they made a Bugs Bunny cartoon nowadays. And I don't think they do. I've never seen one. So, what do you think? Do you think that they should make a Bugs Bunny cartoon? Do you think that they should? Do you think that they should bring back some of the cartoons? Do you think that they're oversaturating the cartoons, especially turning them into Legos, turning them into the Clone Wars and all that other good stuff? Let me know. Tweet me over at Geekazine, geekazine@gmail.com, and we'll go from there. Thanks a lot to the. Looks like we got 26 people that watched this week. Thank you very much. We are here every single Friday morning, 8:30 a.m. That's Eastern time, 5:30 a.m. Pacific time. If you're up that early in the morning, thank you very much. And of course, you can watch the replay. We'll have it on Facebook. Of course, I'll be moving it over to YouTube and putting it on the regular channels. So thanks a lot for watching. Thanks a lot for listening. You guys geek out. We'll see you next geek out. There we go. Geek out. We'll see you next week. And stay geeky and let me know. Like down there, comment down there. If you're on YouTube, you can comment, easy. If you're on Facebook, if you're on Google Plus, you can +1. If you're on Geekazine.com, you can comment there. So please do that, and we'll see you next week. And if you want to be part of the show, let me know, and we'll go from there. Thanks again. Geek out. Take care. Geek out. I said that 50 times, right? Geek out. See ya. Geek out.